Up against a machine too strong. Pretty politicians buying souls for a song. Puppets won't find their place in line. But tie a string around your finger now, boy, cause it's just a matter of time. Cause you got no chance. No chance at all. 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 Come on, come and get it. Come on. Come on, come and get it. Come on. No chance. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. That's right. We're going to talk Mr. McMahon. I didn't know if I'd ever be able to bring this music back, guys, with all the controversy and stuff, but I think it suits tonight's episode as we're going to talk a little bit about the episode 1 of the Mr. McMahon documentary. Guys, how's it going? It's been a few weeks. We had a string of weeks. This is episode 35 Off the Ropes, and we had like 4 weeks in a row. I think we had shows, and we had a couple weeks off, so it's been a little bit. So how are you guys doing?
Oh, good. We're back. The wrestling's been, it kind of hit a lull for a little bit, but then now it's heating back up, and all the companies have had some big shows, not pay-per-views, but just big TV shows lately. We've had debut of SmackDown on USA, the debut of NXT on CW. Dynamite did their Grand Slam, had some big stuff. They got their 5-year anniversary now. It's gonna be some big stuff. I'm not watching live. I don't know if Kyle is, but I warn you that you always talk about the overrun. They've already announced there's going to be close to a 30-minute overrun tonight.
30 minutes. Good night.
Well, and I know it has all to do. I don't know. Did y'all see the stipulation of the Danielson Okada match?
Yeah, stupid.
So they'll probably start it at 9:08, and because it's got to go 20 minutes, so Danielson can't win the Continental title. It's going to go 21 minutes. So they'll start at 9:08, and Danielson will win at 9:29, and then Moxley will come out and do something for a minute, and they'll be done.
Ridiculous. That's insane. If you're gonna have that big of an overrun, just move it to 3 hours. Like if that's how you want to do it every week consistently, just move it to 3 hours. Although I like how Raw is going back down to 2 hours.
Yeah,
so
Raw's going to 2 hours just till Netflix, and then I haven't seen Dynamite even talk about 3 hours, but they've talked about moving the Collision to 3 hours.
Good.
So,
no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Nobody wants to watch
I don't
3
watch
hours of
Collision
pro wrestling on a Saturday night. I don't either.
I don't watch.
Well, I don't watch
anyway.
I watch Collision, but I watch it on. I mean, I do my Rampage and Collision on Monday morning, so.
I just don't have time. I don't have enough hours in the day, especially during football season.
Well, I just throw it up on Monday morning while I'm working. I throw Rampage and Collision on to catch up, but so yeah, I'm able to do that. But that's the only reason.
Well, there's a documentary that come out, guys, and I don't know.
I found time for that.
Yeah, I did. I found a little time for that, and a lot of it. Just an overall overview. Like I found that a lot of these were plugged in from other documentaries that they've released kind of already. It was a lot of review. It really got to the meat of it, that last one. But I enjoyed it overall. Brandon, you have a little bit of the overview of episode 1, who we're going to talk about tonight. We'll break these down in each episode as we have a show. We'll add that on as part of our I guess off topic segment. We'll add this in and kind of give our thoughts and takes on it. What did you have written down for episode 1? We'll kind of start it there.
Well, just a quick full lens view real quick is, I going in, I kind of do it because I didn't learn a whole lot, especially on the wrestling side. Most of the stuff I'd watched and lived through, so I didn't learn a whole lot that I didn't already know, but I still found it to be a very good and easy watch. And, I still was entertained by it, and I liked certain things about it, but I didn't like, there were things I may have like, oh, I kind of forgot that, but I didn't really learn a whole lot. If there's an episode where I did probably learn the most, it was episode 1, and it was kind of a lot of it was non-wrestling based. It was about Mr. McMahon. I mean, so the first, how they start off, they talk about him. I didn't know he didn't meet his dad till he was 12. I didn't know that. So you always hear about Vincent Kenny McMahon and Vincent McMahon Sr., and he takes over the business. Also, didn't know Vincent McMahon was poor.
Yeah,
because his dad was a wrestler. I didn't know that. And then I didn't know about the abuse from his stepfather and his mother and that stuff. And then I didn't know I didn't know him and Linda. Like, I mean, he was 17, she was 13. I didn't know that they didn't know they'd known each other that long. And I mean, they were definitely childhood sweethearts. So, but yeah, so I just didn't know about that stuff. And then the territory. Another thing the big thing they talked about in this episode after kind of introducing Vince is the territories, and we've always known about the territories and different things, but it was interesting to see his dissection of them, and how kind of he burned some bridges, and and how he took the company from his dad. I didn't I thought he just inherited the company.
No,
I didn't know so that was another thing. But that's what I said. The first episode I learned some stuff. Everything 2 through 6 didn't really learn anything because it was just wrestling stuff you already knew and you watched. But that first episode, you're like, oh, okay, that was kind of interesting, and then it touched on how he came in, and Bob Backlund was the made champion. He's like, well, I'm gonna take this guy, turn him into Hulk Hogan. He's gonna be the champion, and it shows how Hulkamania was made and all that stuff, and then a lot of the Vince introduction. And then the territory thing and the Hogan introduction, kind of Hogan creation. That was I would say the main points on this one. And another thing I thought was funny is they told Vince, they said go take a vacation, and they're like, oh, Vince is a workaholic. He likes to, and he's a workaholic, and he wanted his wrestlers to be workaholics. By evidences, they worked like 350 days a year, but he's on vacation, and that's when he created WrestleMania. And they're like, the whole time on vacation, he's thinking of the next big thing to do. And then WrestleMania was born, and we're not 40-something years later now. And so that was kind of interesting too, just hearing that part. But I thought episode 1 was good. It was not my favorite. Like, I thought all 6 episodes were good, but I definitely had favorites that we will get to, on later episodes. Because I'll go ahead and say 3 and 4 were my 2 favorites, just because the content they covered in those. But I liked episode 1. It was a good introduction to what was to come, and so yeah, that covers it for me on that.
Overall, so I gotta have a different perspective than y'all, because I didn't start watching wrestling till later on in my life. So I had heard a lot of these Vince stories, but I didn't know them. Like I'm not saying a lot of this stuff in this documentary was new necessarily, but I kind of understand it more now. And like going into it, I already knew Vince was a terrible human being. Like I already knew that. Like I knew of his most recent stuff, but it wasn't new necessarily, but it was a different view on things for me. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The very first episode, I had some empathy for Vince. I felt bad for him at first, because if you think like not knowing your dad, not knowing he was a McMahon till he was 12 years old. He said he didn't know his last name was McMahon till he was 12 years old. Like, imagine growing up in your life with the abuse and he said, I remember he said this in the doc in episode 1. He said that it was just a victory. Like, it was a victory. He won if he was alive at the end of the day. Like, he won if he survived the day. And like, think of that mentality you have to celebrate just surviving another day. Like, that blew my mind. So I started to feel bad for him until then you realize how much of a terrible human he is. But for it kind of, to me, and I'm not saying it's right, but it explains his mindset and how he acted later in life. Like, I get it now, seeing how it started, dirt poor, being abused, and not knowing his dad. Like, it all makes sense. Like, that's a perfect cocktail for the human being that he became. So I think it if anything, it kind of made Vince make sense to me. Like, how I can see now, and that's where I say the empathy part came in at, because I felt like you don't want to see any kid do that. Now, there's a lot of kids that go through that and they struggle and get out of that situation and don't do it to other people. But like we'll talk, I know in other episodes, but the way his father treated him is the way he treated Shane. When he could have broken it right there and treated Shane differently, he did what his father did. And it's just it's stuff like that where like you understand and you feel so bad for him because he was put in that position. You know what I mean? But he is the scum of the earth, but I felt bad for him in episode 1, learning more about his past.
Kyle, Brett, real quick. Kyle, I didn't want to say. I was scared to say something because, you're scared to take Vince's side because you're like, I don't want to get kids. But and I'm not doing that. But especially episode 1. But I even told someone through episode 5, you feel some sympathy, empathy. Feel like Vince is, even though you already know going in, we knew because we knew too much and knew Vince is a terrible person. But watching especially the first episode, and then through episode 5, you're like, man, Vince is maybe not. They make, I thought this was going to be a straight on burial of him. The way things I had heard before, I thought it was just going to go all in on. And so I was like, well, through 5 episodes, it makes him seem not like a awful person as he is. And then episode 6 is when it all is like, okay, this guy's the worst, and it all makes sense now. But some real life stuff. Kyle, you talk about is. I was the same way. I've never met my real father. I don't know how even old I was when I found out he existed. Found out a name, but I've never really found out much about it just because I don't know. I still don't know him, and I've never met him, and I know his name, and that's about it. But so same thing. I went through some stuff similar, maybe to Vince, not at that level, and I haven't done the things Vince has done as an adult. So but also I've never had that much power and money either. But not to say that's an excuse or what, but yeah. So, but a lot of that is when you come through that, and then you basically have nothing and everything's against you, and then you have all the power and have everything. I can see where that can create some difficulties. Not to excuse anything he did, but just. It makes sense, like you were saying.
Yeah, and I think that's where I landed after this first episode. And like you said, even through up until really the last one, but even the other stuff that he gets into with the steroids and the stuff like that, he didn't. It did seem like he was being attacked from everybody at certain times, but he also brought that upon himself. He also played that persona where it was easy for people to target him. And so I think, to your point, it makes a lot of sense. When you go from having nothing and being, talked down on and put down your whole life to then being arguably the most successful promoter of all time, yeah, I'm sure that messes with your head and it messes with, all your facilities. But it, like you said, it doesn't excuse anything that he did, but it's something I see where it went wrong for him, and it just never corrected its course. But I learned a lot about him in that first episode. I did, and I felt bad for him.
We got a 2-man booth here.
I know. I don't know what happened with Bret. And what's crazy is he's the host. So how, if he leaves, shouldn't the whole thing shut down?
He's like they're defending Vince McMahon too much. I gotta get out of here before he get canceled.
Well, he's the one that put Vince in the background that we got his head now sitting there.
I know. It's very intimidating.
It is. Well,
intimidating.
I guess we'll just keep going on with the show. Is there anything else on episode 1 that you want to mention?
So Kyle, what do you want to talk about?
So, Brandon, off the ropes. What do you want to talk about? Is there anything else in episode 1 though that you? Oh, there he is. Hey, welcome back.
Now he's at the bottom. The bottom controls there.
Oh, wait, I don't know what happened, guys, but all of a sudden, my computer just went my screens all went off. I've got 4 screens here. They all went off, and then I don't know what it just. and now everything's trying to load back up. I don't know exactly what happened there, but sorry, I missed whatever y'all said. I was gonna say this first episode, the territory part, I found that interesting because I knew about, WCW, and I knew kind of about, some of the territories, but I didn't realize how many there were, and that would like seeing the map, and because I mean I was, I'm not that old where I didn't start watching until probably around the time WCW and the Monday Night Wars started. I was I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was little. So then I started sneaking watching it in the back, and I only was allowed to watch WCW. Honestly, we couldn't watch WWF at whatever that was what it's called at the time. I would sneak and hit the recall button and bounce back and forth when they were on. I wasn't supposed to. But
What?
the thing is, I didn't realize that they had all these handshakes, and Vince was ruthless. Like he was basically like, I mean, I put it like for if NetSN was like to start going and trying to buy out everybody and take over the state. That's kind of what he did. I mean, everyone had their own little region, and it was one of those handshake deals. Nobody had guaranteed contracts, which is interesting. I found that very interesting to me, that because that's how he was able to get some of these wrestlers. There was no guaranteed contracts, and he actually lost some wrestlers that way as well. Now they don't do that because you don't want somebody that's on your programming the week before and just jumping right over to the other competitor. But I found a lot of this interesting. The steroid thing was interesting. I kind of remember that, but I learned a lot of that with the Hogan stuff. I watched some Hogan, but he was basically Hollywood Hogan by the time I really was watching him. So some of that older stuff, I enjoyed that. I will say that I know you have lots of people that turn out different ways. Some of them have good childhood, some of them don't. But they ultimately have their own decision. I think to me, Vince was partly that. I think partly he got wound up in his character, and he got to where his character and his person were the same, but he was able to blame everything on his character. Oh, that's just my character. But in all essence, that was not the case. It was happening, outside of the, I guess, his character. So it's kind of, just imagine the things on TV, it was funny. But I think if we'd have known back then, some of the things he said was he was doing, I don't think it would have been as accepted. Now that we've kind of know the curtains peeled back. But this first episode, I agree. I learned a lot of the first part with Vince and I didn't realize the story. I didn't realize that he didn't know his father, and I kind of thought he inherited. I didn't realize he bought him out, and the amount he bought it for was insane if you think about it. Like that now, what he's gotten. He's got several $1 billion after all said and done now with selling on his stock. But that's like taking a penny and turn it into $1 million. It's pretty incredible. His business side is very impressive. The person obviously despicable, but business sense. He turned it into something else. I think I think once the McMahon character ran its course, I think his story writing, as we've seen, kind of faded, and some of the things that were on TV we were always questioned, and I'm glad we're out of that era now. Wrestling's kind of on its upswing now. But I really enjoyed episode 1. I thought it was very informative overall, and there wasn't my favorite. I'm with you guys. It wasn't my favorite, but I did enjoy it. I think it was more informative to me than about the wrestling. I just like the whole background of everything.
Agreed.
All right. Well, is there any other off topics that you guys have that's going on? I know we've got a couple of pay-per-views coming up. We're going to talk Bad Blood tonight. We've got Wrestle Dream coming up. We've got some craziness. We did have last week. It was last week, right?
Grand Slam, yeah.
Grand Slam.
Yeah, what y'all think about that?
I enjoyed it. I tuned in. I don't get AEW live too often, but I was actually pretty close to being live. I was watching it as it happened for the most part. I really enjoyed it. It was a great show. Man, Ospreay, man, I can't get enough of him. I could watch him wrestle the entire time, the 2 hours, and it wouldn't be enough. Kyle Fletcher, though, him and Kyle Fletcher together is interesting. I wonder if we're going to get some kind of turn, because he tried to cheat. He's still part of Don Callis' family. I'd love to see them two go at it. I think that would be.
Yeah, I thought it was going to happen then. I thought that's why they kind of did that match, but
yeah. So we'll see. But they haven't. I guess I haven't watched tonight yet, but they haven't done anything with it. But I think that's where it's heading. I kind of wondered because he's kind of gone face away from the Don Callis family, but he was kind of helping them trying to win those tag titles. So I definitely think that's where it's going. And sign me up for that match. Kyle Fletcher's also really incredible in the ring. That you can't almost sometimes I look over there and I can't tell them apart. They had the same matching uniform or outfit on and doing crazy stuff. So I'd love to see that one. And I think they're gonna maybe delay try to keep building the Ricochet match up. We'll see when they go with it.
It's tonight.
Isn't that tonight? Yes, tonight.
Tonight.
Really? They're already gonna burn that match on a.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all because just 2 weeks ago, Ospreay said, "Get your wins up and then come find me." And then the next week, Ricochet's like, "Oh, we're facing the 5th anniversary of Dynamite."
So here's my prediction: if they're having that match tonight, it's a no finish. Somebody's going to come out and interfere. We're not going to have They're going to do something squirrely. Maybe Kyle Fletcher comes out and attacks him tonight or something, and we postpone this. There's no way they should burn this match on a regular. I mean, I know it's a 5-year episode, whatever, 5 years on TV. Whatever. Oh, speaking of TV deal, did y'all see they did the TV deal today?
Yeah.
AEW's TV deal was released.
It's gonna be on Max. I like that.
Man, Max for a discount. Still not part of the pay-per-view. Still won't be part of Max, so you still have to buy it. It's just cheap.
but Dynamite and stuff's gonna be on Max too. So
yeah. So you had
good. I have Max.
Oh, then you're in good shape then.
Unlike CW Network.
Oh well, I got the hookup for you on that. I can hook you up with that.
I immediately went to the Roku because I was like, you know what? If there's anything that's going to have it, this will have it. And I looked first at the USA, entertainment. And then I was like, okay, it's not there because I remember at my parents' house when I was watching NXT before I left there, it popped up with the KYTX thing. So I was like, oh, it's a local station. Got it. So then I went to look at USA Local, scrolled through all the Texas ones and didn't see it. So I was like, all right, well
it's not a Texas one, but there are CWs in there. If you look at the it's the one I watched is out of Birmingham or something.
Oh well, either way, we got workarounds of that now.
Yeah.
So
have you watched it or
no? Not well. I watched all the way up until the Trick and Ethan match, but I know who won.
I didn't watch mine yet, so I had no.
I watched. It was a great show. The one thing I'll say, it's not really a spoiler, just except that the NXT women's division is already the strongest. And they're adding more depth. I mean, I know Julia made her debut match last night. They teased someone last week. Someone came back last night. They teased a vignette for somebody else. I mean, the women's division in NXT is getting even deeper.
They're cooking.
They got to get some of them ready though to come up, especially if SmackDown's going to 3 hours. They got to get some of them up, and because the women's division in WWE is not. It's not AEW bad, but it's not very strong. So
it's Nia Jax bad right now.
I think Roxanne's coming up soon. I don't know when, but I think Roxanne's coming up soon.
Oh, I don't want to spoil anything for Bret, but
yeah. But I don't know how soon. But
I thought that's what I thought.
Or something.
Yeah.
But now they kind of added a new storyline with her last night, so I don't. Yeah.
Did you? Okay, so. I wanted to see what that was, the actual deal. It was a pretty big amount. Let's see. I'm gonna look at the
hey, while you're looking at that real quick, I just want to say my favorite match of a long time, we finally got it last week, was Nigel and Danielson. It lived up to expectations for me. I mean, I thought we've always wanted it, and it was good to see Nigel back in the ring in a one-on-one. and to see that with Danielson. It's been 16 years, and I thought that was a fun match.
So looks like the deal is it's 150 million a year. So for AEW, that's
That's
as
nice.
as a company that's only 5 years old, that's a pretty good deal. Now, I will say it says it's a 3-year deal with an option for a fourth. So it says the AEW pay-per-views will be on a max for a discounted price. Doesn't say how much. And of course they'll have the other content. Now, I'm also reading that they're looking at maybe a third show, and it may be a local deal. Now, it's mentioned with Fox. Fox just lost. It's one. It says it's among the networks that are potential suitors. So it looks like Rampage on Fridays is going to be gone, and they're going to be doing another, which is fine with me because I never watched Rampage. I can't remember. I can't tell you the last. I mean, I've watched Collision since I've watched Rampage. I can't tell you the last time I watched Rampage. And so this will be interesting to see where they go with it. Do you want another show? I mean, I don't know if I've got time in the schedule to fit another one. If it goes on local TV, though, is that your main show? Like, I mean, you would think it would be, right, if it goes on a local network, especially if it's one of the big 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be interesting. You talk about Rampage, and the Rampage, their cards are very lackluster. But I will say one thing about Rampage: it's the easiest watch in wrestling because it's 1 hour. It's 4 or 5 matches of just pure action. There's very little talking. It's just, I mean, it starts with a match, like they're already in the ring when it starts. It's bang, 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 bang. But I mean, it is normally are really good people against, enhancement talent most of the time. There's normally like one, so like the other night's Rampage card was actually, it was way better than normal. But Rampage is just an easy watch because it's just 1 hour of strictly wrestling.
Well, and it's basically, Brandon, it's how they get their wins. They build up their wins on Rampage.
But they normally give you one good like tag match or trios match on Rampage. Like, I mean, like so they normally get some of those a really good. They're not. I think they did like Bang Bang Gang against somebody, and I thought that someone that was pretty notable. I think Private Party or something. It was pretty solid. So.
Well, it's good that they kept them there. I think that's good for TNT and TBS with them losing NBA. They'll have some time that there won't be, they'll have more spots open because they won't have. That's going to be still weird to me that that's going away.
Hey, here's my issue though, and I heard this on a podcast the other day because on the guy I listened to, he was reviewing NXT and he brought up a good point, and I hadn't thought about it really, but it's a good point. Aesthetically, other than the names and the letters, what's different from Raw, NXT, and SmackDown? Like, they're all basically the same show. Like, production's the same. Remember NXT Black and Gold? It felt different. Like, it was just a different feel. It wasn't like the other shows. But you look at NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, they all feel the same. Like, the only difference is one's on Monday, one's on Tuesday, and one's on Friday. So the thing with AEW, okay, you want to get rid of Rampage and make another show. It's probably going to be just like Rampage, except called something different and on a different night. Like, if you make something that's different, an alternative, something that's different from what we're getting on Dynamite or Collision, then okay. Now, I only watch Dynamite. I don't watch Collision or Rampage anymore, but you can tell me if I'm wrong. Does it feel any different other than it being shorter? Does it feel any different from the other shows? Because, I mean, if it doesn't feel any different, I don't want more of the same thing.
No, and it doesn't. But Collision's not shorter. Collision's the same 2 hours also, and they're talking about moving to 3.
Right.
But the thing with Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, at least it's the same. It's the same. It feels the same, but it's different rosters. It's different people doing it.
Yeah, right.
Where Dynamite and Collision, it seemed like there are some different people that are like kind of Collision, but they're still the same people. Like, you just on Collision, you don't get a lot of the bigger stars, but you still get some people that face on Dynamite. But it's not like a totally different roster. Which, when it first started, I think it was supposed to be that way. because like Collision was going to be CM Punk's show. Like he was going to be a Collision guy, and then the rest is history there. But I like, and you like FTR, you see more on Collision, but you still see them on Dynamite some too. So, but there's the only thing different about those is, I mean, same thing with like SmackDown, Raw, and NXT is the announce crews are a little different, but still some of the same people there too. So there's really no difference on Collision except it's on a different night. And
maybe when Raw goes to Netflix, that changes a little bit. Maybe we get a little bit more edgy.
They have hinted that, yeah.
So I mean that's I think that could be. Also, if they do, my question is, so we're Netflix. Do they do a 3-hour show, or they do 2 and whatever hours without the commercial? So then it makes it, you get more wrestling, but you don't have to watch as long.
I don't think it's going to be a set time. Like I think there will be tiered. From what I've heard, there's going to be tiered subscriptions, so you can get Raw without commercials, kind of like pay-per-views, or you can get them with the ads in there. I'm not paying extra; I'll watch the ads. But I don't think it's going to be a set time. Like maybe one week it goes 2 hours and 15 minutes. Maybe one week it goes 2:45. I don't think there's a lot.
You love the runovers, so you'll love.
But it's on Netflix. It's different. That's different. It doesn't matter. It's different. I don't have to set a recording for Netflix.
Well,
I can just go back and watch it.
So if they do that, so you know how they go to like commercials sometimes and they put the little thing in the corner, maybe some people have to watch it that way, or some people miss that part of it. And then if you pay the extra, you get the commentary, you get it full screen the whole time, maybe. Because I don't know how they would do that if they're going to be live. How could they make it? If they make the show less time, well, you get ads. Well, how are they going to do that? They're just going to delay yours, and so you're behind.
No, I think they'll just play the ads like they do like they do now. Like it'll just cut to a commercial break and it'll cut to ads, and then maybe people without ads will get like a full screen, maybe no commentary. You could just hear like crowd noise and what's going on in the ring. And then when commentary comes back, commentary comes back.
It'll be interesting to see how they do it.
And during commercial breaks, they'll kind of do like they do on pay-per-views. They'll show you like a video package, or they'll do like the WWE shop commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be promo. Now they'll probably have advertisers too, like
Slim
Prime
Jim
and Slim Jim, stuff like that. Like they'll probably show commercials of that too, like they're primary advertisers too. Yeah. But I mean, I think I think it'll be fine on. I think it'll be fine on Netflix. But I also don't think it's going to be Attitude Era raunchy either. Like I think the biggest difference we'll notice on Netflix is we won't get muted out crowd chants. Like I think that's the biggest thing. It won't mute out the crowd chants anymore.
And don't block the screen. That was the most annoying. God.
Well, no more Fox. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, like Bret and I with kids, we don't want to go too back. Like we don't want to go back to Attitude Era either, because watching the Vince McMahon doc, some of these things are like, I watched this as a kid. I probably shouldn't have, and I wouldn't let my kids watch it these days.
Yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different when you're a kid trying to watch it, and then when you have kids, it's like, whoa, no, y'all don't need to watch this.
Then Bruce Pritchard's dumb tell, he's like, would you let your kids watch Attitude Era? Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. But Bruce, get out of here, dude.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, but I did watch it, but like same thing. I don't know if I would I wouldn't let my kid watch that. But he watches now, but I let him watch, and he watches more WWE than AEW. Like he likes AEW too, but AEW you gotta be a little more careful because they do cross the lines a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I think to me, they're not going to cross the lines with the stuff that are real bad as far as they can't get away with the stuff they got away with. It's a different time. The things that they did, I don't think you're going to have the I don't know, the women when they just strode them out there with hardly any clothes on. And I don't think they're not going to do that as much. I mean, I think the bloody, the language, some of that might be, questionable out there, but some of it I just don't think that you can get away with anymore. It's a different era, as they say all the time and remind us, it's a different era. I just don't think it's going to go that far. I would like to see some of the stuff that AEW does. We don't need blood in every match like Moxley, but just some blood being involved. They do a little bit of that, and so I'm interested to see kind of how they go about it, because I do still like that they're a little different. AEW is a little more of that hardcore, more realistic wrestling. So I like them different, but I think they'll be able to do a little bit more than they have been. It'll be interesting to see how much different it'll be. I kind of am hoping it's a little bit, just so like Kyle said, I don't want to watch the same show 3 times a week. So if you do have, because I think Raw and SmackDown, to me, they cross over a little more. Like NXT is kind of its own thing. Now I know they've had some guys go back and forth, and I like that because it gives me different matches. So I'm cool with, like, Pete Dunne's been going down NXT. It's been some good matches. I like him. It's kind of just he put some guys over, and I like what they're doing with that. But their roster is kind of its separate own thing. Like it's so I do like that it's different in that way. And you have a lot of young talent, and they're doing a good job of developing talent, which I think they're doing a better job of now than AEW. AEW was developing talent, then they started buying all these guys, and now WWE is developing talent in NXT, and I think they've got so much talent now. And y'all talked about the women's division. I'm excited to see some of those ladies get a chance on the main roster, because I mean the women's it's kind of blah right now. I mean, you don't have Becky Lynch, you don't have Charlotte Flair, you got Jade and Bianca holding the tag titles, but you know I want them to do something, a program with them at some point. They need to. I'm done with them as the tag champs. I just think the women's division right now is kind of and it shows how deep they are, because there's 2 titles in NXT for women. And there's only 2 on the main roster right now, right? They haven't introduced any new titles. I kind of thought might.
They're about to introduce the U.S. women's title. They said.
Okay. Well, as this roster is so deep, and they'll be able to move some ladies up, I think it'll be good for a start. Like I'd like to see before this. You know, Tiffy's got the Money in the Bank, but she would have been a great one to put on that mid card title at first. Bring her up, let her have some run as that, and then like right now, she's kind of just hanging out, waiting to turn on Nia Jax. I'm ready for that to happen. I'm over Nia Jax. I've never been a huge Nia Jax fan. She just doesn't do it for me. It's the champion. But so I'm hoping that some of these NXT women will come up. And Kyle, I don't know if you've gotten to watch it enough and seeing the women's matches, but they're very good matches. They've got a lot of good workers down there.
Yeah, I've seen some of the matches. I've seen Kalani. I've seen Jada Parker. I saw Lola Vice. I saw Sal Ruka the other day. Sol Ruka, I mean. But and of course Roxanne, Julia. So I mean, and JC Jane, Toxic Attraction or Fatal Attraction that's down there now, whatever they're called. So yeah, I mean they got a very deep women's division. They got some good talent down there. And to your point, I like how we can send main roster people down, but you don't see a bunch of NXT talent just flooding up and making appearances on the main roster. I think that should be earned. But going back down to NXT is not a bad thing.
You don't want them to go up there and just get beaten. You like when they go up, they need to get a push. They need to be like they're good. I mean, you send somebody up and they just lose. Like Carmelo Hayes, I don't like what they've done with Carmelo Hayes. He came on, he's hot. I've seen enough Andrade Carmelo Hayes matches. I mean, I like both of them in the ring, but guess we're going to get a 7th match now. I mean, come on.
They're going to be a tag team like Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah, I guess. I guess.
I mean, someone's got to face LA Knight eventually.
I know. I see. That's one of the things. Like, I feel like Carmelo Hayes is kind of stuck in a rut. Like, he was so hot coming up from NXT, and now he's just kind of fluttering there, needs something to do. Like I don't really know why him and Andrade are even fighting. Do you guys know? They just want to fight and see who can win so many matches.
We'll see who's the better person.
Are we trying to do like a series like in baseball or basketball? It's a 7. Yeah. This many matches in a row, it just kind of floods me with too many of the same matches.
I want to see I want to see a wrestling best of 7 one time be like a 4-0 or like 4-1 though. It always goes 7.
Yeah.
Well, it's all rigged, just like baseball playoffs. They all go. I
thought it was done. I thought we were like in a wild card, so it was done after 5. But then they had to bring back this 6th match, and well, of course, who's gonna win this? We know. So I don't know, but that's where I don't like if they bring somebody up, it needs to be a strat like they did with Braun Breaker. They brought him up, and he just started beating people. He was just killing folks, and then he got a title. Like I like that because now he's over. Even when he lost last week to Jey Uso, they kind of turning him a little face. It looks like maybe, and so it'll be interesting to see. I've heard maybe rumors he's going to go after Gunther possibly, and so I'd pay to see that match. I mean, I don't have to pay, but I'd pay to see that match. But so I like what they've done with him. That's what I like, because when they bring him up, they need to do something with him, because you go from being an NXT champion to be a mid card person that just shows up on TV every once in a while. I mean, at some point, I guess you have to go back to that. But like, if you get somebody over, now they're so over, it doesn't matter. So I like what they've done with Braun Breaker. I just hope they can get Carmelo Hayes back. I like him as a wrestler and his character. I just don't know what they're doing with him.
I like the Carmelo and Andrade matches myself. I've been a fan of them. I wish they would have spaced them out a little more, where they weren't so close together.
I'm just kind of like, I've seen them it seems like they're wrestling every week.
Right. That's why I'm saying I wish they would have spread them out a little more. But I like the 7-match series.
Hey, they could spread them out like the Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio matches, Cal, for you.
No,
how many times do you think they've wrestled on TV?
More than I can count. Thanks, Vince. I mean, Mr. McMahon. I'm sorry.
Oh man. Hey, let's talk some bad blood, guys. All right. Let's see here. I've got the card pulled up here.
5 o'clock start.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a little earlier.
No, I know.
Does that mean it's going to go longer?
No, UFC's got a pay-per-view that night.
Oh, they only compete against their own company. I see that.
Yeah. So like UFC will be going, but like the UFC pay-per-view part doesn't start till 9.
So the Bad Blood will be off by 8 o'clock or so.
8:30, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Because UFC will start at 5 or 6, but the pay-per-view won't start till 9. The main five fights. So.
All right.
You're saying companies can work together and benefit each other? That's crazy.
Well, they are one company.
Kind of like NXT and TNA. I like what they're doing with those, with the crossovers there. Just kind of gives some other wrestlers some that you don't see a whole lot of if you don't watch TNA. People are like, oh, I need to go watch that. I'm sure they're getting a lot of good off of this little partnership. I like the fact that they're working together.
Before we start, do we think Drew and Punk's the main event?
I'd say it has to be.
That's what I would think.
It better be.
I would think, and I think it should be, and I think it will be. But I could see a path where they do the Roman, Cody, and Bloodline. But
if there's storyline progression with like the Rock or somebody coming back, then that's going to be
if we have a big return. Yeah, it'll be the main
but if there's no big return, then
I guess we can talk about when we talked about that match. But the segment they did on SmackDown last week, in the stadium,
sweet.
Oh yeah, man,
phenomenal.
We can talk about it when we get to the match, but yeah, I just wanted to.
Okay, so we got World Heavyweight Championship match, Gunther and Sami Zayn. Man, I hate that I don't care about this match. Am I the only one that doesn't really care about this match? I mean, yeah, Sami Zayn beat him last time, but come on, guys. Sami Zayn's not winning this time. It's going to be Gunther, and I'm hoping it sets up some kind of new opponent for Gunther. I'm interested to see where they go with it. There's lots of good options, but I'm hearing Braun Breaker. That's why I was mentioning earlier. I've heard that name mentioned. So they could do some real interesting things with that feud. So we'll see where they go. But I like Sami Zayn, but I'm sorry, Sami, you're not winning this match. It's gonna be Gunther.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw this several times for the Intercontinental just a couple months ago. So I mean, they'll put on a good match, but like, they're just buying time for Gunther because you got to get him to Mania, and they don't have people for him right now because the Damien's tied up and Drew and Punk are tied up, and so like everybody's tied up right now, and so and then Braun Breaker that is interesting. I haven't seen or heard that, but like that makes more sense, I guess, now, because I was shocked they took the Intercontinental title off of him like that. I mean, I had like a Undertaker losing at Mania shock when Jey Uso won that match.
So awesome though that Jey finally got that singles.
Yeah, yeah, but I thought it was. I didn't expect them to take the title from Braun that quick. I just thought he would have a long. So, but if that's the direction, then and Braun did show I mean, I know it was just more of a respect thing, but they're not on Raw early on. You know, he showed a kind of a face. You could make a face of him against Gunther. You know, but still be a destructive guy too. You could go down that path. So I mean, if I would like, you know, Braun Breaker against Gunther, but like, if you got Braun, because I don't see Gunther losing before Mania. That's my only issue. So I don't know if I want to do that, and then because you just had Braun lose to Jay, and then you haven't faced Gunther, and he's going to lose again.
Well,
So
it could be some interference. You still got Ludwig roaming around the ring.
I want to see Ludwig break off soon too, because I think he's got. I think like the Undertaker. I don't know if y'all heard the Undertaker talk about it. He thinks like Ludwig is his like the guy he could see like being like a face of the company. That's his guy with the star potential. He talks about very highly of. And there's other former wrestlers that talk very highly of Ludwig, and I would like to see him break off because I think he has really shown a lot of potential of this last year.
Be a good feud between the two of them, maybe at some point.
Yeah. Gunther's not losing. I feel like I've said this before about Sami Zayn. This whole storyline, the way he got this title match really just kind of annoyed me. I was just kind of over it. He was begging and Gunther was like, no, which is what a championship. I don't have to give you this match. Why would I give you this match? Like, for what? And so he begged and begged and begged, and then finally got under his skin just enough where Gunther beat the hell out of him. I was like, fine, you want this, you got it. Like, okay, dude, you're still not going to win. Like, it's just kind of, I understand that Sami's persona, the ultimate underdog, the fighting, whatever, like, that's great. I'm just kind of sick of seeing it. Like, I'm kind of sick of seeing it for this. I know he'll need to do that for the bloodline stuff when he eventually gets involved in it, I think. But right now, I'm just kind of over it. So I don't care about the match so much. But Braun was in the backstage with Gunther and looking at the title and had a little conversation with him. So that's where all the rumors are coming up that's where Braun's going next, which, I mean, I guess I could see it, but I don't want, like you said, Brandon, I don't want to feed Braun to Gunther. He just lost. There's no sense in him taking more L's. So I think you got to, if that's what they want to go to down the road, maybe at Mania, maybe that's where Braun beats Gunther at Mania to win the championship. I don't know. But if that's where they're going, cool. But I don't want them to do it anytime soon because it's pointless. If that's what you're doing, then why? I don't like it. I don't like I don't like all that.
So Kyle, your Hail Mary pick is Sami Zayn. You're going Hail Marys on this show too?
No, because I don't even want to be right about that. So I don't even want to put that out in the ether. Gunther by 50.
There's already some some controversy after our picks from last night's show there, Kyle. I got a nice text message. Basically it was I think we may actually have a guest appearance next week, possibly on the Beast from the East show. If someone didn't like some of the things you said about the DFW area, just throwing that out.
Me?
Yeah. I don't know what was said, but we also had a Brook Hill coach that was a little upset with Jaren's pick. He was a little upset there that he picked some other team from across town. So couple.
Why? What did I say about DFW? Because he's calling schools that are DFW that aren't? Because he put Sulphur and Paris in his DFW ranks?
I don't know. I got a text message out of the blue, and he actually wanted to hop on. He's like, "Hey, can I get on?" I was like, "We're not technically on right now." He was wanting to jump on, I think, and it was just funny. He said that KO was making him mad. That's all I can say. So you got him riled up. So we may actually get a guest appearance from someone next week.
I hope I go 10-0 in these picks.
All right. So next match on the card, Nia Jax versus
I picked Gunther, by the way.
Oh, well, I kind of assumed you did, Brandon. I already had you down. You already. I basically assumed we were all picking Gunther on this one.
But also, Kyle, real quick, is the last two matches Gunther's had defend the title, it's guys that said, "Oh, I beat you once, so I get a title shot."
Yeah, it's the same story. Like, can we do something different? Can we change it up, Trips? Do something different with Gunther.
I think they want to keep him the champion, so they're kind of just struggling to find something for him, maybe. And the problem is, like, I like Gunther in the ring, but it makes me not care about this match because when there's no chance that he's going to lose.
No,
well, we know how it's going to go too. We know that Gunther's going to beat Sammy down for majority of the match. Sammy's going to make a run. There's going to be a near fall. Yeah, there's going to be a near fall where it's so close. Oh, and then he's going to get tapped out or something. Or he may just pass out because he's the strong fighting champ. He's not going to tap. Like, come on, dude.
Now it's time to get to Bret's favorite wrestler.
Nia Jax versus Bayley. Man, I hope this is where Tiffy time starts and we get a cash in. So badly I want that because I'm as much as I love Bayley, why would they put the title back on Bayley? The only thing I can think of is they could let Bayley win and then Tiffy cashes in. I think she gets involved in this match in some sort of fashion. And but I don't know. I don't think she's going to cash in the middle of the match. I don't think she makes it a triple threat. I think it's going to be an after the match cash in. I'm just hoping for it. I'm going to go with Nia Jax, but I could see them also giving Bayley the win and she cashes in on Bayley. I don't think it's going that way because I think it's going to be she's got to cash in on Nia Jax because that creates that feud. And then we get a little bit of that feud for a little bit. Even though I don't care about Nia Jax, I'm ready to see Tiffany Stratton take the title and I guess put it back up where it needs to be, a little more prestigious. I think she's a great character. She's got a great she's great in the ring, and I'm ready for that. It's Tiffy time. So Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton cashes in. Tiffany is the new champion.
Nia wins. I don't really care about this match either, except the Tiffany aspect. And they really teased it last Friday. Tiffany had that look on her face, and so I think it's coming soon. I still would like to wait a little bit, but my pick's Nia, but I do think we may get Tiffany cashing. And if she cashes in, I'll be excited. If Tiffany wins, has a title, I'll be excited. But I don't know. I just like most women's cash-ins happen like the month after the pay-per-view, after Money in the Bank. So like I want to see a woman hang on to it for a little bit. But whenever Tiffany cashes in, I'll be excited.
Yeah, I think Nia wins this match. I'm with y'all. I'm not overly hyped about this match. I'm more interested in what happens after the match. And I think it almost seems like they're telegraphing it too much, though. It almost seems like they're making it too obvious that Tiffy's about to cash in, which makes me wonder on is she really going to cash in or not? Which I guess is the beauty of it. It's got me guessing. It's not. You don't know for sure. So but
here's my thing, Kyle. So she's got to cash it in on Nia, right, for the story to work. How long are they going to continue to keep Nia Jax as champion? Like, that's the reason why. Normally, I'm for the let's keep it going, like let's draw it out, keep you guessing. But I'm asleep at this point. I'm ready for this story to be over, and let's get something. Let's have something that throws a match on it, like cashing in on your so-called best friend to get the title. Because right now, this is probably a take a nap match for me. Honestly, like
I don't check in on some football.
I don't care. I love Bayley. Like I love.
Brett doesn't watch college football unless it's Texas.
Yeah,
that's true.
And they're off this week.
Yeah,
so no football for you.
I just don't have time. I'll be doing soccer most of the weekend. But yeah, I love Bayley in the ring, but give me somebody else in the ring with her. Like Nia Jax. She does the same moves over and over. There's only so much she can do in the ring. I don't care.
I don't think Tiffy cashing in on Nia is the only way the storyline continues, because I think Brandon mentioned it. Bayley could win the title and then Tiffy cash in on Bayley and be the champion, and Nia be jealous because of that, and it continues their storyline going on. Brett. Okay, well, somebody said it. I didn't just grab it out of thin air. So congrats to one of y'all. But I don't know. I don't know which way they're going to go, and that's what makes not necessarily again the match so interesting, but it makes what's going to happen after the match. Is Tiffy going to cash in on Nia, or is Bayley going to win? But I'm picking Nia in the match. So I think Tiffy and as a bonus pick, I'm thinking Tiffy cashes in.
Okay. Damian Priest, Finn Balor. This match will be a good one. This has been building for quite a while. Man, I don't know how much more you can have this match. I think this is where hopefully this ends. I don't know if it ever is going to end, but I'm hoping. I think Damian gets the win over Finn, and hopefully some of this story ends. I think Judgment Day needs somebody new. What I really hope happens is I'm hoping that the Wyatt Six goes after the Judgment Day. Give me something new. They kicked out some of their family. You know, they've been doing some. I haven't really been paying attention. They've been flashing some stuff. Have y'all been doing the QR codes on Raw? I was doing it first, but I've been kind of trying to skim through Raw this week, and so I didn't do the QR code. Not that it would really tell us; it's so cryptic. But I think it would fit perfectly. It would get Judgment Day away from this other feud. I'm ready for it to kind of go away. So I'm going to pick Damian Priest to get the win over Finn Balor.
I haven't seen. I guess I missed a QR code. I've seen like the I saw like the little cryptic promo like vignette for like I assume it's Viking Raiders the last couple of weeks. And last week everybody was saying they thought it was Lucha Bros, but then we found out that they can't come for a while because TK decided to add a year to Ray Phoenix for injury time. And so
wow, what a douche move.
Yeah, well, I mean, Vince would have did the same thing. So
I guess,
he did do it several times. But we can't. It's not. But it looks like it's Viking Raiders. But I haven't seen the QR code thing. I guess I don't know. I missed that. But yeah, I think Damian wins, and Bret. I don't know if this ends because this is the first match they've had. Like they had the tag match, but this is the first one-on-one. So I mean, a lot of times these are, and the way this was set up. I mean, you got it. A lot of times they do these in threes. So, I mean, I think the blow off will be at Royal Rumble, but I mean, you may be right. But I don't see this ending. Like, I think the Liv and Rhea part ends, but I don't see the Finn and Damian part. I think Damian wins this one, and then I think they'll have to face again, and Finn will win. But I don't see this ending just yet.
I hadn't thought about Wyatt Six, attacking Judgment Day until you said something, Bret. But I like that idea. I think that if you can get Damian to beat Finn, then Rhea beats Liv, then that kind of spells the demise for Judgment Day. Then here come the Wyatt Six in here to kind of finish off the rest of it, And I love that idea. The problem is I haven't seen anything leading towards that. Now I know it's these cryptic messages, and Brandon, the reason you haven't seen the QR code is because it's so fast, and they put it in the weirdest. They put it in the weirdest spots. Like, I mean, they put it in the middle of the screen, but it's at the weirdest part of the shows. Like
it's the other day, you have to really pause it quick to get it to.
Yeah, I like.
Was it like when they were first coming? That like those?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay,
but it's in different. It's in different spots. That's what I'm telling you. Like I'll be going. I fast forward through the commercials because I record it, and so. They'll start like showing a promo for NXT or something. So I start fast forwarding, and then they put the QR code at the end of the NXT promo before they go into the commercial break. So you're like, bro, I'm not, I don't even care about it. I'll see it on Twitter or something later. I'm not worried about it, but I think it's a great idea. I just don't know if that's the route they're going to go. I can see them splitting it where Finn wins this one and Rhea wins the title or vice versa. I could see them kind of splitting with whatever the Terror Twins do. But I think, and I'm with you too, Brandon, I think this isn't the last match. It would make sense, Bad Blood, but this is the first time we're seeing them in the ring. I don't think it's a one and done. I think we're going to get probably a best of 3 out of this somehow. And then maybe we get one here, maybe one at a Saudi show, and maybe one at Survivor Series. If they want to just blow them all off real quick. I don't know. But I'm taking Damian to win this match. Give me the Archer of Infamy.
All right. Next up, we got the Women's World Championship match: Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Man, this has got to be Rhea's time to get the title back. I would think. I I think I know you guys think it's going to be more. I'm hoping they've done these matches. Like we've had tag matches, we've had mixed, there's not been a whole lot of matches, but it just feel like there's been so much interaction. I'm kind of done with it. I'm hoping that Damian and Rhea win, and then they move on to some new feuds. And then, like I said, I'm writing the storyline, and I think Wyatt Six come out, and they get punished. The Judgment gets punished for kicking everybody out, because Finn, they got rid of, when Finn came, you got rid of Edge originally, and then you got rid of. So they've disavowed all their original family. I think it fits perfect with what they did with Chad Gable, same type deal. Gable abandoned his family. Finn's kind of done the same thing. I mean, it kind of fits. We'll see if they go that route, but I do think that Rhea Ripley gets the win along with Priest.
Yeah, I think Rhea wins. And like I said a while ago, I think the Damian and Finn keep going. I think this, because Rhea and Liv have been going for a lot longer. I mean, this is a long, Rhea went away for a little bit with injury, so that slowed it down a little bit. But this has been building, and they've had a lot of battles, and I think this will be the blow off. Or, I mean, unless Liv thinks she deserves a rematch, but I do think Rhea wins, gets the belt back, and starts her road towards WrestleMania, and so we'll see where they go with her from there. But I do think she gets the belt back, and a good thing that Bad Blood, they placed it perfectly, like, because this is the you get worried with these PLEs during college football season. They pick the perfect Saturday because there's not a big schedule this week. Where like Wrestle Dream next week is going up against a banger schedule of you got Texas, Oklahoma. Well, I mean, by the time they start, it'll be Ohio State, Oregon, and I mean they're going up against a banger schedule where WWE's got theirs in a perfect spot because there's not many. The game day game this week is Cal and Miami, so they're in a good spot this week to get and so I do like that, but I picked Rhea to win this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean, how much longer can you draw this out? I mean, we're putting Dom in a shark cage. Like, I think we've reached the end of this. I think we've reached the end of the road for this feud here. So yeah, I think it should be a blow off, and I think Rhea should win. None of this makes sense if Rhea doesn't win. So I think Rhea has to win the title, and she deserves to get her title back. She never lost it. So I think Rhea gets her title back.
I was at the last Shark Cage match when they put Jericho up there in 2017.
Okay.
What about what's his name? Was in the Shark Cage. Enzo Amore was in the Shark Cage. They showed a picture of him in the Shark Cage.
Bet that was probably before that then.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I'd forgotten about that one.
Yeah, the one I did, it was KO against Roman, and Jericho was in the Shark Cage. That was the list Jericho time.
Oh, that was great. I love the list.
Jericho. Yeah, the list Jericho is way better than Learning Tree Jericho.
Oh, don't remind me. That's terrible.
I'm the Learning Tree.
Oh my gosh. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline. Man, this is going to be interesting. There's so many ways this could go. I don't even know how to even predict what's going to happen here. I do think there is I think we have some surprise appearances in this. I think hopefully this is the return of Jimmy Uso. I think it's time for Jimmy to return. I don't know if it's before or after they get jumped. I'm gonna go with you can't. Here's the deal. Like they're not gonna pin Jacob Fatu. That would be very bad booking. So who's gonna take the pin? Is it gonna be Solo? Is the only one that makes sense to me, but I don't know if there's so many ways they could do this, but you could still make your faces look good if there's a cheatness involved. So I think the Bloodline wins. They're jumping them at the end, and then we get a return of maybe a Jey Uso or somebody to come and make the save. Maybe some more involved. I think the Bloodline gets the win here, and it's going to set up the Survivor Series match.
Who takes the pin? if Bloodline wins.
I don't know that it mattered. My thing is they can do it in a way where it's cheating, where it doesn't make them look bad. Like they can take a pin if there's like, there's 4-on-2, right? So I think that's where it's going to go. I don't know who takes the pin though. I mean, I don't think it will hurt either one of them in this kind of case, but since it will be a shenanigan involved, but I don't know. I'm not real sure. I don't think you can. I think maybe Cody. And then Roman has to go get his original bloodline to deal with this. I don't know.
So you have the champion get pinned. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't. But here's the deal: if they're gonna cheat, then they can make it not.
I get that. This is where we're going to disagree. I don't think they. I mean, they did the video package the other night, and apparently there's going to be another one big one on Saturday. Cody said on the McAfee show today. I hadn't watched the whole interview yet, but he did hint at another big video package, and I think Cody and Roman win. But the only way, unless Roman does a full turn and spears him, and then Cody takes that would be the shenanigan I would see, is Roman spearing Cody and just leaving him, and then Cody getting pinned. You may see that, but I think Roman and Cody win, and then I think after the match, then things break down all over the place. And how many PLEs? I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying I probably agree with you, and I hope you're right. But how many PLEs now have we said that Jimmy's going to return?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're getting. I think Jimmy returns. I think that I'm with you, Brandon. I think that Cody and Roman win, and then they get beat down afterwards. And I think Solo takes the pin. And I think Roman is the one that pins Solo. He's already getting like the show that the original Tribal Chief pins the fake the Temu Tribal Chief. And so I think they win. And then I think immediately we get the Tongans and everybody in there attacking Roman and Cody. Then we hear, "Ooh, so," and you get Jimmy. You think it's Jay, but you get Jimmy that comes out there.
You mean this one?
No, that's his heel one. He ain't gonna be a heel anymore.
So...
I mean, maybe that's the one that
I do like that. I was born a king.
I do too. I like it too. But I think we get Jimmy return to kind of even the odds. The problem is they're still outnumbered. So if Jimmy returns, somebody's got to come with him.
Zilla Fatu,
Hikuleo. Who? I mean, is there somebody that comes with Jimmy? I don't know.
And then when does The Rock show up? I mean,
I don't know. I don't think it's at this one.
No, I don't think it is either. But
I don't think it's at this one. I think Hikuleo and Jimmy show up. Well, Jimmy, but if Jimmy just shows up by himself, they're still outnumbered and they're still going to get beat down. So unless when he returns, he runs them out of the ring.
Who's not on the show? Jey Uso.
Yeah, but he's the Intercontinental Champion. I don't think he's going to be meddling in stuff that's going on right now.
He's not in the match, so he's not.
I think Cody and Roman win and Jimmy returns, but I don't know if he returns alone. But I hope Jimmy returns because, yeah, like you said, Brandon, we've been saying this every show that we do. Oh, Jimmy's returning tonight. I think Jimmy's returning.
Well, we got Bash of Berlin. I guess that's the next one, or is it Saudi, whatever, Crown Jewel or something. We got one of those coming up, and then Survivor Series War Games. So like he's got to come back soon because we got to have that. And then so we know we're getting something Bloodline related there, and then it's just how quickly do we start getting on the Cody Randy, because Randy's already been dropping those hints. He's turning soon, so we're getting Cody Randy like at Mania, but pretty soon we're getting a lead up to that.
I just kind of thought that maybe this would get Cody out. So if he takes the pin, then he gets out of this because he lost, and so Roman he starts having to get his real family involved. I don't know, but I could see. I like KO's theory. It's got to be Solo that gets a pin if it goes the other way. It's got to be. You're not going to pin Fatu at this point. He's your main attraction. He's the one that's going to, at some point, him and Roman are going to go at it at some point. They're just going to keep holding that, keep them separated. Now, I am interested. They do have them together in this match. So I was kind of hoping that they would just have the Tongans in this match, not get Fatu involved yet. I kind of want to keep them separated. It'll be interesting to see what goes on in this match.
But I'm much more ready to watch this match with Jacob Fatu than one of
I
those
agree.
tongues.
I agree. I agree.
I'm gonna be glued into this match. It's gonna be fun. If you have one of those tongues in there, you don't know what would happen.
I know.
They might accidentally hit the sail that's hanging from the roof.
I'm just saying, as far as extending this out, like I like that they've kept them apart so far.
I think that they'll still be kept apart in this match. I don't think we'll see them interact with much.
Each other will tag out when others tagged in.
Yeah, I mean they'll obviously have some moments, but I don't think we'll get a full on show between Roman and Fatu yet.
Get them in both being in the ring, like, and then something happens and somebody attacks one or the other one. And
right.
It's kind of that tease thing that they like to do. But I could see this going either way. Only reason I think you let the bloodline win to kind of continue. Like if Roman wins, I mean, I guess the aftermath of the beat down at the end would continue it. But I think it's all going to come to a head here I'm excited for Survivor Series. That could be it's one of the most anticipated Survivor Series that I've had in a while, because it's going to have a lot of meaning behind that match. It's going to be some crazy stuff. I think the thing is who's going to be involved in it. That's going to be the kicker. Like who's going to be on whose side and who's actually going to be involved. And we kind of know one side, but I'm sure there'll probably be one other person in the 5-on-5 match, right? So that'll be interesting. The next match, man, these guys are making money right now. This feud has been hot. How long is this since CM Punk arrived? Basically, when Drew McIntyre reacted the way he did, this feud has been just fire, even with the injuries and through all that stuff. It's got to be CM Punk that wins this. I don't know. I'd like to see AJ Lee show up. I know they've been talking about her on TV, like Drew McIntyre.
She was there last week.
Well, he's mentioned her several times, like, doing this in front of her. I would love to see her like show up and help CM Punk win this match, or have some kind of involvement in the show. I'm a huge AJ. Even if she doesn't have to wrestle a whole lot, she's a huge attraction, a great character. So I would actually give the women's division a little shot in the arm.
She said she's not wrestling anymore. So if she came back, it would just be purely for this story. And she may come out with Punk a couple times, but she said she doesn't have a desire to get back in the ring. I mean, that could change, but she's been pretty adamant about that.
That would be what you would say if you didn't want anyone to know you were coming back, Brandon.
Yeah, but she's been saying it on just serious, not in a wrestling character. She's been pretty adamant that she just didn't have a desire to. I mean, as I say, things change, and she wrestled.
She wrestled a little bit in the on the TV series.
The TV series.
Yeah, have y'all seen what is it? The one with CM Punk was in it. Oh gosh, why I went blank. It's on HBO. The wrestler.
Oh, Hills.
Yes, she was on there.
I haven't seen that yet, but
y'all need to watch. Have you watched that one, Kyle? Heels? This one we need to review. It's a good show.
I have it on my list, but I haven't got to watch it yet.
Yeah. It's
I want to watch it.
They're about to have a season 2, I think.
Okay, yeah. But it's moving to Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm. And so it's gonna be it'll be interesting to see how. I mean, she did wrestle in there, so I don't know. I'd like to see her. If not,
it's actress, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Then
I mean, they're actresses out there, in the wrestling ring. So you still have to take bumps. You still have to take bumps.
It's real to me, damn it. It's real to me.
Let's go to all kayfabe on this episode.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But yeah, y'all need to watch that. We'll look into review that show as well. It's a pretty good one. I enjoy it. I'm glad it's coming back.
Maybe next year.
I gotta give AEW some credit. I was talking bad about them earlier. I just checked to make sure that I was going to record the show after Dynamite. That way, I made sure I got the full run over. They scheduled it till 9:30. Like it's not a run over. It was scheduled.
No, they announced it. Yeah,
yeah. So it's 7 to 9:30 recording. I've got shout out to AEW.
Yeah, AEW, good job.
Thank you, AEW. Good
Way-
job.
way to
Your
go,
football
man.
team's 0-4, but at least you're.
Hey,
Now I still recorded Modern Family afterwards because they'll probably go an overrun of the 30. So
so you weren't
recorded
taking any chances then. You weren't going to take any chances. All right, so I'm taking CM Punk in this match. I think this is the trilogy. This is the hopefully. I mean, as much as I've loved them, I think it's time to go something separate. One of them's going after a title. Maybe it's Punk. I don't know, but I think Punk wins this match and gets the win here at Bad Blood.
Yeah, I think Phil will win. CM Punk. I think he'll get the win here, and he had it was good to see him last night in Chicago, and he had a good ending to the show. I'm not going to say what he did or nothing because I hadn't seen yet, but he had a good ending to the show and set up his week, and I think he has a good ending on Saturday night, and soon we will see him in the title picture. I don't know if that is Gunther's WrestleMania opponent. I could see maybe Punk win the Royal Rumble this year. I could see that and face because I feel like Gunther will face because I feel like it's kind of cut and dry manias. You got Rock Roman, Cody Orton, and then Gunther Royal Rumble winner. Well, let's have CM Punk. He came back last year, supposed to win it, got hurt. Drew. They've had this long feud, so now he wins this. Maybe does something short up with someone else, then gets in that title picture and wins the Royal Rumble. So.
Maybe Seth Rollins is back. Maybe they still got.
Yeah, it's hard to tell when he'll come back, but yeah, he was kicking it at the Ravens game there tonight and with Angel Reese. So.
Well, spoiler, Brandon, he did come back.
That's why I said he came back on Raw. I've actually seen that part of it.
Oh, I hadn't got that part.
Yeah,
it's at the end. But as far as this match, I'm with y'all. I think One Bill Phil is going to take this match here. I think it only makes sense. Like unlike the Damian Finn match, like I think this is a blow off match. Like I think this is the final. I mean, Triple H is doing it right. You don't get in Hell in a Cell unless you're going to blow a feud off. And like this is the blow. I think we see blood in this match. I think we see some color on the TV in this one.
Oh, so bad blood. We're going to get some blood. All right.
I think so. But it won't be buckets and buckets like Moxley and all them. And it won't be like Punk was bleeding in AEW in the dog collar match with MJF. It won't be like that.
Do you think they'll put a plastic bag over anybody's head and try to suffocate them to death?
I don't think we'll see that. It's possible, but I don't think we're not on Netflix yet. I think that it's going to be a fun match, though. I'm excited for this one. I think it should be the main event. If it's not, that means something crazy is going to happen in that Bloodline match. But yeah, I think it only makes sense for Punk to win. Now, where does Drew go after that? No earthly idea. Maybe he takes some time off. I don't know. I have no clue what you do with Drew McIntyre once he loses to Punk. But yeah, if you're Punk, once you win this match, you start building towards WrestleMania for Punk, and maybe he has a couple of feuds to get him going up to maybe Royal Rumble, and then that's when he wins Royal Rumble and starts his path towards Gunther. But I think we're going to see Punk come away with a win on Saturday, and it's going to kickstart his road to WrestleMania.
All right. Well, that's all the matches that I have. Brandon, is there any other ones that you saw? That looks like the full card of what I have here.
Yeah, I think that. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's 5 matches. That's when Triple H is special on these, especially these kind of in between ones. Not the big 4.
I have 6 matches.
Oh, did I count wrong? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we went over 5. What's the 6th one?
We have Gunther winning. We have Nia Jax winning. We have Damian.
Oh yeah, we did go over 6. Good. The list I'm looking at doesn't have the Gunther semi match. I don't know why, but yeah. So yeah, we did. That was the 6th one. Okay.
I like 6. 5 for a pay-per-view like this seems too small. I think 6 is a nice number
But 5 and 6 both. I mean, it's good. Like and then I don't know if y'all saw they said next year SummerSlam's going to 2 days next year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the 5 matches is okay if they're all 5 bangers, but when you have a Nia Jax and Bayley match on there, you need to have a 6 match.
That's your bathroom break match or your sleep match or whatever you want to call it.
I hope they don't run those first two to open the show. Like, I hope it's not in the order we talked about with Sammy and Gunther and then Nia and Bailey. That would be a tough way to start the show.
Well, it's just a different when we're watching WWE, your match quality is not always like you're not going to get those. You'll get some good solid matches with some storylines, but like you're not going to see an Ospreay or a Daniel Bryan or some of these when you turn on your. It's going to be hard. Who would you put there? I mean, do you open with
Finn and Damien?
I mean,
that's how you open with Damien and Finn. Get the crowd hot. That's a hot feud right there to open with.
Them or the other women's match, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
I could see them opening with that one because because you got the Hell in a Cell and you got the Shark Cage. So do the Shark Cage first because you got the Hell in a Cell at the end because you got So you don't have to do lower two apparatuses too close together.
And let's make sure that none of them break. All the harnesses are properly sealed on these devices.
Yeah, that was a sad refresher watching.
I can't wait till we get to that episode. I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, that was a sad deal. Anyway, I think that's it. You guys got any kind of crazy off the wall predictions that you think might happen? I know we talked about a few of them, but I'd love to see a new Bloodline member that we don't know about show up.
I think maybe we get Paul Heyman back. I think Paul maybe returns.
Okay.
And maybe.
Did y'all hear about a certain wrestler that Paul Heyman managed that was back on the WWE website?
Brock?
Yeah, he's back on the website, supposedly.
Really?
Lesnar.
I saw a post about it that he is now back on the roster.
That's interesting because in that final episode of the documentary, this whole time his name had never actually been mentioned that I had heard. And then they straight up said Brock Lesnar in this, like it had always been implied, but I hadn't heard his name actually like, yep, that's it. And then they just said it so nonchalantly. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna let him back in the company with this. Okay, whatever. Hey, y'all do what y'all gotta do.
I mean, Triple H has been pretty adamant that he would be back. So
interesting. Well, they got their TV money now. I guess they.
And I've always said I thought Heyman would come back with Brock, like not and maybe.
So you don't think Heyman comes back with Bloodline at all?
I mean, he may be part of it, but I don't like. He didn't come back with Roman, so so he may get it. But maybe because if it's a 5-on-5, maybe Brock's the fifth teammate.
Man, that would pop a crowd. Something because no one expects him to come back.
And him in a War Games match with that like that, him and Jacob Fatu in the War Games together, that would be fun.
Ooh.
I think I'm in the minority on this, but I'm not a huge Brock Lesnar fan.
No, okay, but I get that. But like he brings buzz, and then like him just coming in a War Games and F5 and everybody and suplexing and like Fatu flying around, like you can't tell me that wouldn't be entertaining.
He's a one-trick pony, though. That's what he does. He F5s and goes out of there.
Like I would hypothetically pay good fake money for a Jacob Fatu and Brock Lesnar match.
It would be physical. It'd be physical for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a big Brock fan.
No, but like with the right people, it works well. Like I mean, Brock and Goldberg didn't work at that stage, but
I think I got fed up with Brock with the Roman stuff. Like Brock and Roman going back and forth. Like I think I got fed up.
But I enjoyed them at Mania in Arlington. So
yeah. Anyway, I don't have anything else. That's it.
Okay.
I have nothing else to crap on WWE about.
Brock back though, not Cowboy.
I love Cowboy Brock. I love Cowboy Brock.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight's episode of Off the Ropes, episode 35. Looking forward to Bad Blood this weekend. And yes, the original Tribal Chief is returning, guys. I'd like to thank Dirt Sheet Brandon and the Big Goose. KO Kyle Owens, I'm Mr. Nesson Brett Stoney signing off. We'll see you next week where we'll review Bad Blood and talk a little Wrestle Dream right here on Off the Ropes. Good night, everybody.